everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Better Horses. We're excited because we're broadcasting to you from Thompson Barn, located in Lenexa, Kansas.
This is such a fun event. There are actual breakout sessions led by veterinarians that are teaching preventative care. There's also vendors here, and it's just a time for us to connect with our horse friends and community.
You know what? Brought to you by Wilhite and Frees, located in Hume, Missouri, and they are a veterinary hospital doing all that needed for the veterinarians, and we're excited to have Better Horses coming to you for a new season with new veterinarians, professional trainers, and nutritionists.
That's right, everybody. I'm Susie Arbo.
And I'm Ed Adams.
Here's what's in store in this episode.
And now we join the team of professional veterinarians at Wilhite and Frees on their Equine Education Day. Dr. Kelsey Askew is going to explain the things we should know about equine ophthalmology and the treatment of eye disorders.
From the Shoe and R Ranch in Missouri, professional horse trainer Josh Rushing begins the Better Basics series. Josh goes from the ground up to the riding process with simple basic maneuvers that every horse owner and every horse should know.
Hey Susie, you know when we ride our horses, they can become stiff and they resist the pressure and movement. Well, coming up next, professional horse trainer Mark Jenkins takes time to explain the body parts while riding and how to create the softness and suppleness throughout the body.
Doctor of Veterinary Medicine Ricky Trahan from Wilhite and Frees continues the Education Day, explaining conventional treatments in horses and preventative care.
So stay with us, as I know this episode you're really going to enjoy. Airing on your local broadcast television stations.
Also airing nationally on RFD TV and the Cowboy Channel, as well as streaming on Equus TV. Follow us on social media.
We'll be right back.
It's deer season.
Already? Nice knowing you. We gotta hide.
No, not that deer season. Deer season. It's that time of year when you can get $3,000 off at an authorized John Deere dealer.
A deer season that saves bucks?
That's right.
It's deer season, now through June 2nd.
Legendary products, extraordinary service. That's our heritage.
Offer ends June 2nd. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
Today we're doing an equine education event in Kansas City, Kansas at Thompson Barns. So we're going to be educating all kinds of horse owners in the area about preventative care, first aid for the horse that may be more vulnerable, so horses that may be more prone to certain diseases, and just overall what to watch for to notice, a potential problem in your horse's eyes or vision. So for caring for a horse's eye, I'm a really big proponent of a fly mask. It's a great way to protect your horse's eyes. Horses have very prominent eyes that kind of sit outward on the side of the head, and that's on purpose so that they can protect themselves as a prey animal. They have a very wide field of vision, and so they can see predators from a distance all around them. So it's really good to protect those prominent eyes with fly masks, especially on trailer rides, on really windy days. But one thing you have to do when you have a fly mask on your horse is make sure you're taking it off once to twice a day to make sure that there's not a squinty, painful, teary eye under there. If a horse has to lose its eye, it always is a sad thing for owner and horse alike. However, they compensate so very, very well, especially if they have a herd mate or a pasture buddy that they can rely on to be that extra vision for them. Most horses will go back to their previous level of riding and lifestyle. However, you always have to be cautious with children and amateur riders riding those one-eyed horses. We always do our best to protect our horses' eyes, especially when we're traveling and hauling them. We always check their environment and make sure that there's no sticks, there's no bucket handles that are left uncovered. We put fly masks on them to try to prevent them from rubbing. If you have a horse that only has one eye, we may put a hard cupped hood on them just to really protect that remaining eye. If they are an allergy prone horse, we put them on some medications to decrease their itchiness to just further protect them from injuring themselves or traumatizing their eye. Horses have tear ducts just like we do, so when we cry, our nose may start running, and that is because there's a tear duct that connects our eye to our nose. Horses have the same thing. It's just a much longer structure and it's very, very narrow. So horses that have allergies or are in really high dust areas may have their tear duct become blocked. And if that happens, we can flush them. We can flush them actually from their nostril and flush it up out of their eye to remove any blockage. So horses and humans have very different vision. Horses have a horizontal pupil as opposed to our circle pupil. They're able to see a much wider range along the horizon. And again, that is something on purpose so that they can see predators from a distance all around them. With that, they have a structure called a corpora nigra that sits on top of their pupil, and it acts as kind of a sunshade to reduce the glare since they do have such a wide field of vision. They also see as dichromatic vision as opposed to humans' trichromatic vision. So their color scheme is a lot of blues and greens. So for me, when I see a painful horse eye, I really can feel that, right? So I want to help them out. Eyes are just fascinating to me. I had a really good mentor who also took me under her wing and really wanted to coach me through it, and it just further stimulated that love for eyes for me. I'm Kelsey Askew. I'm an associate veterinarian at Wilhite and Frees Equine Hospital in Peculiar, Missouri. Thank you for watching Better Horses.
You're watching Better Horses, raising your horse experience.
Now's the time to prepare for the world's largest horse show, the Pinto World Championship. This 14-day event begins June 7th, starting with our youth weekend through June 22nd, and caters to all riding levels and ages. With over $1 million in cash and prizes, there are no qualifications required to enter. Held in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Pinto World Championship caters to all types of equines. With over 700 classes, the Pinto show welcomes a variety of breeds. It's a family environment with healthy competition. For more information, check out pintoworld.com.
It's time to go with United Mosquito and Fly Control's premier fly system for fly control in your barn, providing relief for horses from the stress of fighting flies, and also makes the barn more pleasant for everyone in the barn. Easy, effective, and safe. With United Mosquito and Fly Control, we provide a full service. You as the barn owner don't have to do anything. We go everywhere and take care of everything with our friendly fast service. Call today at 913-558-3814 or email Paul at unitedmosquito.com.
BE Saddle Pads by Better Equine provide orthopedic comfort for your horse and you. Our custom top line supplies complete wither, spine, and low back relief so your horse can perform without restriction. Our pads stay in place, are easy to clean, and are made in our shop located in Paola, Kansas, USA. Use code FHRA to receive $50 off your pad purchase. Make an appointment to get fitted or purchase online at besaddlepads.com.
Hey guys, I'm Joshua Rushing. Welcome to Better Horses. We're here at Shoe Ranch today. This is our home and we want to welcome you guys in. We're going to start our new video series today called Better Basics. We want to go from the ground up all the way through the riding process with just the simple basic maneuvers that every horse owner and every horse should know. So again, Better Basics, guys. We're going to work all the way from the ground up all the way through the riding process. So today we're going to be working on the ground a little bit. I want to go through some stuff that I feel like every horse or horse owner should know or have the ability to do with their horse. This is Trio, also known as Rue Cut My Chick is her registered name. This is one of our personal horses, actually belongs to my daughter. She is coming into her 6-year-old year. We'll be showing her at American Ranch Horse this year as a bridle horse. She's got to go, she's a big girl now, right? So, but it doesn't ever hurt to go back through and check some stuff out on the ground. Maybe we're looking at a new horse. Maybe you're a trainer, you've got a new horse in the barn or something like that, and you just want to go through a checklist. For me, I want to know that I could handle walk, trot, lope a horse in hand before I like to get on. It doesn't matter if they're brand new or supposed to be a 12-year-old broke horse that is in for a tune-up. These are some things that I'm going to go check out, make sure they have before I put myself at risk getting on. Again, I'm not worried about wearing her out to prep her to ride as much as I am just making sure that I establish a little bit of leadership and that I have her respect and she has mine. So I need to create a little distance between me and her. I'd like to go ahead and just walk, trot, lope her around in hand. And so I'm going to go ahead and snug this halter up by hand and just give it a little rock back and forth. I'm going to start as little as possible and just see if I can move her back. Once I create a little space, I'm going to make sure I can back her up off that halter. This is just a lot of times we do this with our colts. We start backing them up, and I want to make sure I can communicate her to back up. Now, what I don't want to do, guys, is get myself in a position where I start walking around her to initiate some pressure or to try to drive her off in a circle, right? It's important, very important, that I never allow her to talk me into moving around or talk her or let her back me up, right? So I want to always go forward. Like if I was to walk around here to her hip to try to create some element of pressure, she's able to kind of block me. She's dropping a shoulder in on me, and that could create or invite her to be a little bit more disrespectful. This is a nice mare. There's nothing in this mare that wants to be that way. But there's a lot of horses that could possibly take advantage. So I want to make sure that I'm not allowing her to move me. I want to establish the fact that I'm going to move her. So again, I want to create some space. I'll do that. I'll shake my rope at her and I'll get bigger, 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 as big as necessary to get her to move. I'm going to ask her to do that again. I'm going to forgive her. I don't want to go right back to what it took to get her to back up. A lot of us, if it takes 110%, want to go right back to that again. Super important for me to back off and start at zero again, right? And then get bigger and bigger at there. Didn't take near as much to get her to back up. Back her up again, good. Now that we have a little space, I can go ahead and gauge. I'm gonna focus on this shoulder. I'm gonna start swinging my rope. What I kind of like to relate this to pinning an ear, good. And that's all it took to yield that shoulder out of my way. And now I have her whole rib cage, her hip, that I can engage as necessary to create some movement, okay? It's important for me to have the ability to decide where her feet are gonna go and how fast they go. I don't want her to go out on the end of this rope and just run around and wear herself out. That's not me controlling, that's not me leading, that's just me standing in the middle. A lot of people will go lunge a horse. They stand right here real still. They let the horse go out on the end of the rope, run around, be silly. And I'm not saying there's a place or time for that, but I'm going to ride this horse. Maybe I know this horse, maybe I don't. It's important for me to engage her to a certain degree and know that she's going to be respectful and honor exactly where and how fast I've asked her to be or get there. 6 years old, she's a nice broke mare. But still, same thing. I want to see, maybe I'm evaluating this mare for the first time, or I've just showed up, or maybe I've got a client looking to purchase her. I want to see what she's capable of. I don't want to back up. I want to see if she can transition the weight to her hocks, pick her front end up. She crosses over really nice. This mare's very attentive. Offer her a new way. Good. I'm going to go ahead and ask for a lope. Good. Now notice, I'm not going to continue to swinging my rope at her. I think a lot of us are in a bad habit sometimes of just continuing to swing and swing and swing until we doll a horse up. She breaks gait, ask again, and then relax, right? So again, I told her where to be. I've told her how fast I want her to be. I expect for her to kind of take over and honor that to a certain extent. Good, she's very light in my hand. She's not dragging me around. Ooh. offer. Hey guys, thanks again for joining us on Better Horses Network. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Join us next time. We're going to go through some yielding exercises. We're going to make sure that we could yield our hips, our shoulders. We're going to continue our groundwork session with Trio. And again, better basics from the ground up. We're going to just go through some fundamentals that every one of us should know. So look forward to seeing you guys next time. Thank you so much.
Hey Wranglers, we got a lot more Better Horses coming your way right after this one.
In 1956, the Pinto Horse Association of America was formed to welcome all types of equines and maintain their show records and pedigrees. PTHA currently has over 88,000 members with 157,000 registered Pintos. There are currently 3 separate registries: the Color Registry, the Solid Registry, and the Long Ear Registry. We welcome all levels of competition within a family-friendly environment. Become a member, register, and add value to your horse. For more information, check out the website pintoworld.com.
Welcome to Mark Jenkins Horsemanship, right here on Better Horses. So as I ride around here, I really want to have control of all these body parts. So going forward, I've got control of the hind quarter. I can slide my leg back there, block the front end, keep moving. Do that several times. There you go. But I can also come in here and I can stop that forward motion and I can move that forehorse around. I can pick up, I can side pass this horse. Something else that I haven't touched base on yet too is doing what we call counter turns. Counter turns are going to be, and again, this is something that I do with pretty much every horse that we ride, because I want to make sure that I've got complete control of all the body parts. So the counter turn is going to be the next one that I do. And I'm literally going to isolate this shoulder because I'm going to go to the left. I'm going to isolate the shoulder between my leg and my rein. And I'm going to ask the horse to step over while going forward. But this, again, counter turn. So his nose will be pointed to the outside of the direction that I'm going. So as I walk in here, I got to think forward and get that horse softened up through that shoulder. Bring him right back down into a circle. Nice and light. I'm not doing anything fancy right now, but I am freeing up the shoulder. There we go, good. And I might bring him back into this inside circle, same direction I had his nose pointed. I might pick him up again and move that shoulder out. Nicely done, bud. And move him around a little bit. But again, this is all stuff that I think about when I'm riding any horse. I need to make sure that I've got control of all the body parts. And if I have control of all the body parts, then I feel like I'm going to have a more pleasurable ride, and I'm going to have a more successful ride, and I'm going to have a safer ride. Because for some reason, let's say this horse gets spooked. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reach my hand down and around, pull that horse, and disengage that engine. So it can't go forward, it can't buck, it can't rear. So those are just some of the reasons why I want to make sure to have control of all 5 body parts. The body parts are going to be the head and neck, the shoulder, the rib cage, and the hindquarters. And when I'm talking about soft, I'm talking really, really soft. And I'm going to go ahead and do a couple more counter turns and walk you through that. So when I'm going to ask the horse to push his shoulder off to the right, or to my right, his right,
And I'm going to show you when I come back around for the camera, I'm going to show you what that should look like, where my hands, where my feet should be, and encourage this horse to continue going forward. So I'm going to pick up, ask the horse to move over. There we go. He kind of got bracy on me there for a second, so I just walked him through that and held on to him. I bumped him once. I'm going to do it again, see if he can't free up a little bit easier. There we go. There we go. And then go right back to getting super soft. I'm going to go the other direction, and then I'm going to do a couple other maneuvers as well as I'm riding this horse around. So you want to make sure that you have control of all these body parts, and very fluidly. You want to be able to ride your horse with zero resistance. I see a lot of people, they'll climb on a horse and they really want to muscle one around. I swear, if you could feel the amount of pressure that I'm applying with my leg or my rein, going whichever direction, is very minimal. And you'd have a much better understanding of how a horse can interpret your cues. I mean, for instance, they can feel a fly land right there. So they can definitely understand and feel everything that's going on. There we go. Good job. Everything that's going on with your hands, your seat, your feet. And so now I'm just kind of playing with him. I'm just seeing, do I have that soft? There we go. I like that. Do I have it both directions? Yep, I feel like I do. You'll see my left leg comes in a little bit more than my right because he's a little stickier. There. He's a little stickier or a little numb, more numb on his left side. I hope you guys got something out of that. I hope it helps you with your horses. Thank you for watching this episode of Mark Jenkins Horsemanship right here on Better Horses.
Hey cowboys and cowgirls, don't go anywhere. We have more Better Horses coming your way.
Now's the time to prepare for the world's largest horse show, the Pinto World Championship. This 14-day event begins June 7th, starting with our youth weekend through June 22nd, and caters to all riding levels and ages. With over $1 million in cash and prizes, there are no qualifications required to enter. Held in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Pinto World Championship caters to all types of equines. With over 700 classes, the Pinto show welcomes a variety of breeds. It's a family environment with healthy competition. For more information, check out pintoworld.com.
The Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University announces a new service for horses. Hi, I'm Dr. Dylan Luter, a specialist in equine performance medicine. Our new service focuses on lameness diagnosis, advanced imaging, physical therapy, and regenerative medicine for horses with injuries preventing them from performing at their best. We can treat a variety of conditions and design a customized rehabilitation plan to meet the needs of each client and their horse. The Veterinary Health Center, to discover, to teach, to heal.
It's time to go with United Mosquito and Fly Control's premier fly system for fly control in your barn, providing relief for horses from the stress of fighting flies, and also makes the barn more pleasant for everyone in the barn. Easy, effective, and safe. With United Mosquito and Fly Control, we provide a full service. You as the barn owner don't have to do anything. We go everywhere and take care of everything with our friendly fast service. Call today at 913-558-3814 or email Paul at unitedmosquito.com.
Dr. Ricky Trahan with Wilhite and Frees Equine Hospital. We're here at Thompson Barn at the Equine Education event. What we're going to hopefully chat about in my talks mostly about equine emergencies. So emergencies that owners should hopefully be aware of, and what my conversation will be about is signs they should recognize or are surrounded around the symptoms that owners should recognize. So we see colicky behavior as the most common emergency, and so there's a multitude of symptoms that we'll kind of talk about that can be observed. So as it pertains to colicky behavior, I think the most important thing is, obviously, if we're seeing moderate symptoms, the horse who's struggling and not living happily, not eating, drinking, urinating, defecating, those are the main things we want to see them doing normally. But if we've got moderate symptoms, rolling around, not eating as they should, consistently do, that's worth a conversation. And our approach is always at least start with a conversation. Maybe we don't come out and see every case that we have a conversation about, but it's worth having that talk, particularly after hours. So there's lots of symptoms that may be mild, and we can observe either at the barn or have a short visit. But ultimately, if a colicky horse is prevented from living from its life normally, we would like them to be called and seen. Symptoms of a colicky horse, particularly in the moderate sign, if they're rolling, if they're pawing, if they're trying to harm themselves further, sometimes if they've not had any fecal piles passed in a certain amount of time frame, certainly if they're not eating at all, those are symptoms that concern me. Obviously, if they've got distended abdomen or they look bloated of any sort, sweating, high heart rates, high respiratory rates, those sort of things. By far and away, the most common reason why we explore an abdomen is to confirm what we think is going on. Most times we don't have a definitive diagnosis until we're in the abdomen surgically. So being prepared from an owner's side in knowing, would I be willing, do I have the financial capability, all those sort of things, thinking of that ahead of time is pretty critical. I think a really important part is an emotional conversation during an emergency visit, and whether it be my plan, my goal, my training, everything I do is meant to keep you in a rational state as a boarder or an owner, anyone involved. I should be the voice of reason and the voice of rationale. I tend to say that you're allowed to be as emotional as you'd like. My job is to bring you back to earth. I think the most important part at the end of my presentation for any owner who's interested, I call them information gatherers. AAEP, the American Association of Equine Practitioners, has a really good website, aaep.org, and they have great information for any owner that would like to know more about emergencies, webinars, charts, all those sort of things.
Hey, thank you for watching Better Horses. If you've missed any of our episodes, you can check us out at betterhorses.com, where you can see all our shows.
You can also find us on Facebook or listen to any of our podcasts right from your mobile device.
And don't forget our newspaper coming out 5 times a year, also on the same website.
You're gonna love it.
Hippodrome save.